Okay, somehow I was reading something and there was a new book published within the last 2 or 3 years. It's called On the Row with Ted Bundy by a Mr. Hawkins, Hawkins. A lot of the players, I worked at JSO from May of 75 until November of 77. And of course, you know that Debbie and I had the encounter with Bundy at Jeb Stewart in June of 67. I know what it was. I was watching this woman named Connie who claimed she had an encounter. It's possible. His summer course was from June 24th or 25th at Stanford, studied Chinese until, I guess, August 24th or 25th, which it gave him a few days. And she said it was right before school started that there he was again at a lake and hiding in the bushes and tried to drown her several times. And she had a terrible home life. And somehow she got up under the pier and it was like a jumping dock or a fishing dock. It's terrifying, but some of her things the same thing. And I wonder, was he wearing khaki colored shorts? Because the shorts in Jackson wore like khaki colored dress shorts. And I had the same feeling that I was only 12 years, 8 months, and I said, he said Theodore, and I said, Theodore? Because it seemed so pretentious. He never said Ted, he just said Theodore. And I said, what is your last name? And he said Bundy. And I said, your name is Bundy no, your gun is silver like Debbie's flute, and your name is Bundy like my clarinet. And Debbie's father's an admiral at NASA. It's a long story. The older sister has traumatic narcissism, and something happened. And I was always the foot of the problem because I said I would try to hitchhike. Debbie stopped at the bleachers. I have now realized that my family was going to Daytona that week. I wasn't really interested in summer band. I tried to take the clarinet. I could play Little Brown Jug after the 6 weeks. He did not stop because I was on the corner of the baseball field with my thumb out. He had already gone. He was making a beeline where Debbie was on the bleachers. So I'm going to assume that she was dressed for summer. I wasn't. I didn't have a lot of summer clothes. The things that I had were already packed to go to Daytona. Debbie had a peasant top on, frayed jeans, and Huarache sandals. And I think during the class, she must have stepped out to the sidewalk. There were some vending machines, and I think there was a new gym. And we were not children anymore. We were going almost into 8th grade. And she had stepped out, and I think where he ran into her, and he may have said, I'm going to be assistant coach next year. Or I'm going to do a few rounds of basketball with some fellas. If I see you, I'll give you a lift home. And she said, oh yeah, I've got a blister between my toes or something. She may have wanted to come to Daytona with us. Her father was right down there in NASA. But she stopped at the bleachers. And all this time I'm thinking, we ran into him because I tried to hitchhike. No, we ran into him because he had already gave her a ruse to stop at the baseball grounds. But anyway, what was I doing? This book is terrifying. I have read every book, Violent Minds, Murder Secrets, Kevin Sullivan, Ann Rule, Dick Larson, and the other guy that lived in Seattle, the younger guy, Deliberate Strangers. There's another one, The Guy Next Door or something. There's 3 of them. There's 3 books published in the 80s. I've read every one of them. I've read Ann Rule's last, what do you call that, postscripts, because we did call her, and this lady called Ann Rule too. Now my IQ is 122, so we're different heritage a little bit. My family was stable and wonderful, didn't have a problem. But anyway, this book is terrifying. But unlike the Confessions, Conversations with a Killer and other things, Keppel and Dickel, this is terrifying, and it is probably true about the this Florida prison. It is horrible. If you want to read some of Bundy, and he said, I may have children out there. He said it himself. There may be a bunch of little Bundys running around. I'm reading every bit of it because there's more verbiage from this correctional officer's journal than you're going to get from any of the psychiatrists, psychologists, and people. He was there for 5 or 6, 7 years, and he was a guard at Stark Prison. And unfortunately, I know Captain Mickler, I know Sergeant Parmenter, I know Steve Parmenter, all these things. And what's his name? Oh, what was the guy's name that did the computer stuff? Oh my God, I can't think of it. Oh, Sales. No, what was his name? Shoot, I can't think of it right now. Scholes, David Scholes. I don't know. It doesn't matter. All right, I'm gonna let it go at this. But if you don't want to read a terrifying book, it's nauseating. It's called On the Row. Hawkins. The author's name is Hawkins. It's horrifying, but I read it because I wanted to read his actual words. He never really tells the truth, but it's got more stuff in it than you would believe. All right, thank you.